Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, you're very welcome. My name is Couscous and this is the Get Ahead family. On this channel, I share global opportunities and how to migrate abroad through jobs and through studies. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing about UK Visitors Visa. In the past few weeks, I've had a lot of questions surrounding UK Visitors Visa. Oh, Couscous, how can I apply for UK Visitors Visa? What are the requirements? Couscous, I want my mom to come over and stay with me in the UK. What kind of visa should I apply for? So I'm going to be talking about UK Visitors Visa. Of course, you know how we do it here. I'm going to go to the UKVI website. We're going to go through all the requirements together. I'm definitely going to share my screen so that you see what I'm doing. So yes, if you're interested in applying for UK Visitors Visa, or you're interested in knowing requirements for you to get this visa is, how long you can stay, how much it costs, application process, stick around and watch this video to the end because that's what we're going to be talking about today. Meanwhile, if you're yet to subscribe to the channel, do well to subscribe. Check around the channel. If you're new, you will see a lot of content around scholarships, around studying abroad, and so much more that you can take advantage of. A lot of information on how to get jobs in the UK and other parts of the world, global opportunities in general. So you would like to really subscribe because there's so much value on this channel. Let's get right into this video. So we're going to come to UKVI website, which is www.gov.uk. So when you come to UKVI, you're going to go to visit the UK. When you come to visit the UK, check if you need a visa. If you're watching this video, it means you already need a visa to come to UK. So ways to visit the UK. You can visit the UK as a standard visitor. You can visit the UK for a permitted paid engagement. You can visit to pass through the UK in transit. That's like transit visa. You can visit the UK marriage visitor visa. If you want to get married in the UK, you can just get a visitor's visa specifically for that. You don't need to be a citizen of the United Kingdom to get married in the United Kingdom. All you need to do is get a marriage visitor visa and come and get married. You see how easy it is to get married in the UK is how easy it is to break the marriage, just so you know. The main visa we're talking about today is the visit the UK as a standard visitor. That's the UK standard visit visa. Now you see here we're going to talk about the overview, the different ways you can visit the UK, and then how to apply and everything. So you can visit the UK as a standard visitor for tourism, business, study, courses of up to 6 months, and other permitted activities. So know that when you want to study in the UK for courses that are less than 6 months, about 6 months, but not more than 6 months, you're going to be applying for a UK visitor's visa. However, if you're going to study in the UK for courses more than 6 months, then you'll be applying for the Tier 4 General Student Visa. You can usually stay in the UK for up to 6 months. You might be able to apply to stay for longer in certain circumstances, for example, to get medical treatment. So there are various types of UK Visitors Visa, and for various duration, there is the single entry, there's the multiple entry. However, as long as you are holding a visit visa, the longest you can stay at a time is 6 months. What you need to do, check if what you plan to do in the UK is allowed as a standard visitor visa. Check you meet the eligibility requirements. Check if you need to apply for a visa to visit the UK. Apply for a standard visa. So these are the checks you have to do before you decide, okay, I think that I am eligible to apply for a UK standard visitor visa. What you can do and cannot do. You can visit the UK as a standard visitor for tourism, for example, on a holiday or vacation, to see your family or friends, to volunteer for up to 30 days with a registered charity, to pass through the UK to another country, that's transit, for certain business activities, for example, attending a meeting or interview, to take part in a school exchange program, to do a recreational course of up to 30 days, for example, a dance course, to study, do a placement or take an exam as an academic, senior doctor or dentist for medical reasons. So of course, if you're coming for medical tourism, you're going to get a medical tourist visa. Now, the one that says here to study, do a placement or take an exam. I did a video talking about why people should not do master's degree in the UK and the alternative path they should take. One of such was that if you're in a professional career in a highly regulated industry, you will need to write the qualifying exam in the UK before you are able to practice. For instance, you're a medical doctor, you are a lawyer, you will need to write professional exams in the UK. And people were asking me, if I want to write these exams, how will I write knowing that I do not live in the UK? Here comes your answer. You can apply for a visit visa to study, do a placement, or take an exam. So if you're a medical doctor and you want to come into the UK to write PLAB, they would give you the visa to come in and write that exams. If you're a lawyer and you want to come in to write the solicitor's qualifying exams, they would give you a visa to do that. So as long as you want to study or write an exam that the duration is less than 6 months, you'll be given a visit visa. But I've already said if your studies is more than 6 months, you get a Tier 4 general student visa. I have done everything you need to know about Tier 4 student visa. I have done it on this channel. Just check the channel and you're going to see, including how to apply, in fact, everything. So when you're on a visit visa, you cannot do a paid or unpaid work for a UK company or as a self-employed person. You cannot claim public funds. You cannot live in the UK for long periods of time through frequent or successive visits. You cannot marry or register a civil partnership or give notice of marriage or civil partnership, except that you will need to apply for a marriage visitor visa. So if you came into the UK with a standard visitor visa and then you want to get married or enter into a civil partnership, you will need to apply for a marriage visitor visa. You cannot work when you are with a visit visa. In fact, that is very easy to understand. You're a visitor in the country. You are not allowed to do paid or unpaid work for a UK company or as a self-employed person, and you're not allowed to live in the UK for long periods of time. Like I said, no matter the length of your visit visa, you can only be in the UK for 6 months at a time. Check you meet the eligibility requirement. You must have a passport or travel document to enter the UK. It should be valid for the whole of your stay. So I give an instance. Let's say your passport, your Nigerian passport, or your whatever country you're watching from, before your passport expires, the duration is only valid for 8 months, and then you get a visitor visa for 6 months. You can still come into the UK because your passport duration validity covers the entire duration of your visit. But if the validity of your passport is 5 months and you get a 6 months visitor visa, you will need to go and update your passport and get a new one that covers through that period. You must be able to show that you will leave the UK at the end of your visit. Now, these are the things they are going to use in order to know if to give you the visa or not. These are the criteria they are going to assess. Are you able to leave the UK at the end of your visit? Are you able to support yourself and your dependents during your trip? That is, or have funding from someone else to support. That is proof of funds. You have to show that you are able to support yourself while you are in the UK. If you are coming with dependents, same. You are able to pay for your return or onward journey, or have funding from someone else to pay for the journey. You will not live in the UK for extended periods through frequent or successive visits, or make the UK your main home. As long as you're on a visit visa, and you would attest to the fact that you will not make the UK your main home because you are merely a visitor. You may need to meet extra eligibility requirements if you are visiting the UK to study, do a placement, or take an exam. As an academic, senior doctor, or dentist for medical reasons, of course, you're going to show proof that this is actually the reason I'm coming to the UK. So if you're coming to study, you can visit the UK for up to 6 months to study at an accredited institution, to do a short piece of research, to do an elective course, to sit an entrance exam, to do an unpaid clinical attachment, to take the objective structured clinical examination, test of professional and linguistic assessment board, that's PLAB. You should check you meet the basic eligibility requirements, which we just finished, and any relevant extra eligibility. Prepare any required documents that prove your eligibility. Of course, if you are coming to study, you have to show that you have been admitted to that institution, you have probably paid the tuition, and you have the authority of the institution to visit the UK or to come and write that exam. Your letter of admission will usually show this and everything around that. If you're visiting to study an accredited institution, you must prove that you've been accepted into a course provided by an accredited institution. Of course, your letter of admission. The course is no more than 6 months long, unless it is a distance learning course. The accredited UK university cannot be an academic or state-funded school. Distance learning courses and all of that. If you want to study for more than 6 months, you will need to apply for either a short-term study visa or a student visa, a general student visa. If you are visiting to do a short piece of research, you must prove that you are at least 16 years, you are already enrolled on a course, you've been accepted by UK higher education. Documents you must provide: you need to provide confirmation from your overseas course provider that the research or research institution is part of or relevant to the course. So that's it. Of course, you always have to visit this website in order to know what you're doing. If you are taking the PLAB exams, you can visit for up to 6 months to take the OSCE or PLAB test. If you do not pass the PLAB test, you can apply to stay in the UK for a further 6 months to retake the test. If you pass the PLAB test, you can apply to stay in the UK to do an unpaid clinical attachment or dental observer post. You can stay in the UK for up to 18 months in total. So for all those who want to write their professional exams, you can apply for the 6 months visitors visa, come in and write. Let's say you write the exams and you don't pass. Other visitors visa, you have to be in the UK for not more than 6 months and then you would exit the UK. If you have a multiple entry visa, you have to exit the UK after 6 months and come back in. However, they're saying here, if you're writing PLAB, you come in for the first 6 months, you write and you do not pass, you can actually stay in the UK and apply for an extension so that you can resit the exam, which is actually very good. And if you pass the PLAB test, you can actually stay to do unpaid work. But the total amount of time you're going to stay with your visitors visa if you're doing unpaid work is 18 months. Alright, so if you're visiting on business, you can visit the UK for up to 6 months to do the following business activities: attend interviews, negotiate and sign deals, attend trade fairs, get work-related training, give a one-off or short series of talks, for presenters and all of that. Now, I want us to actually look at applying as a standard visitor. Apply for a standard visitor visa. If you need a standard visitor visa, you must apply online before you travel to the UK, and then you must attend an appointment at a visa application center. The earliest you can apply is 3 months before you travel. So if you're traveling to the UK, let's say in August, the earliest you can apply would be in May, because May, June, July, then you're traveling in August. So you cannot apply earlier than 3 months to your travel time. It says here you must meet the eligibility requirements and only do permitted activities. We have already shown the eligibility requirements. You have a valid reason to come to the UK. You have the financial resources to take care of yourself throughout the time. You're not going to take up paid work. You're not going to use public funds. Now, the visa fees. You can apply for a standard visitor visa, or if you visit the UK regularly, you can choose to apply for a long-term standard visitor visa instead. So the standard visitor visa is £100 and the maximum length of stay is 6 months. However, there is a standard visitor visa for medical reasons, which is £200 and the maximum you can stay is 11 months. There is also a standard visitor visa for academics, which is £200 for 12 months. These are for professionals in the academia who maybe come here for placement or for sabbatical or for teaching practice, whatever it is in their field. Now, you can also apply for a 2-year long-term standard visitor visa, which is £376. However, it is 6 months per visit. So if you have a 2-year long-term standard visitor visa, your visa will be valid for 2 years. However, when you come to the UK, you cannot stay more than 6 months at a time. There is also the 5 years one, which is £670. There is the 10 years one, which is £837, 6 months per visit. Of course, I've already explained that. Now, apply online. Once you have started your application, you can save your form and complete it later. This is where you click to apply. If you have all the documents ready, your proof of funds, what you are coming to do in the UK, if it is a family that is inviting you, of course, a letter of invitation. You can choose to apply for a long-term standard visitor visa if you visit the UK regularly. This visa lasts for 2, 5 or 10 years. You can stay for a maximum of 6 months on each visit. If you're under 18 years old when you apply, your long-term standard visitor visa will only be valid for up to 6 months after you turn 18. You may be given a shorter visa than requested if UK Visas and Immigration believe you cannot meet the eligible requirement for the duration of the visa you applied for. Yes, let's say you apply for 2 years long-term visa. They can give you the 6 months one if they assess and say that they don't think you can meet the eligibility or you can meet the requirement of coming back multiple times. So for you to apply for UK standard visitor visa, these are the documents and information you will need. I've actually filled the standard visitor visa application before, so I may show you guys the details of the application document if there is time. I may go through the documents, the visa application, so that we see the questions that they usually ask. You must have a passport that is valid for the whole of your stay in the UK, which is valid for at least 6 months. Okay, we've talked about that. There must be a blank page in your passport for your standard visitor visa, because the visa vignette is going to be pasted on your passport, so you need a blank page. You need to provide the following information in your online application: the date you are planning to travel to the UK, where you will be staying during your visit. So you could either provide a hotel reservation or an Airbnb reservation, or if you're staying with family or friends, you'll have to provide their address. How much you think your trip will cost. That's financial capacity, proof of funds. Like, how much do you think? For instance, you would maybe say, I'm going to be using £50 a day or £100 a day, and then you calculate that up to the duration of your period and say, oh, my trip will cost me £1,000. And then if you say your trip will cost you £1,000, evidence in your bank account has to show that you have that money. Your current home address and how long you've lived there, your parents' name and date of birth, how much you earn in a year. Yes, you have to talk about your finances. When I was filling the visitor's visa application, I was like, why are you guys asking for all these things for just visitor's visa? They're going to ask you, who is your employer? How much do you earn? How long have you been working for that employer? How much you earn? Details of any criminal, civil or immigration offenses you may have committed. Depending on your circumstances, you might also need to provide details of your travel history for the past 10 years, your employer's address and telephone number, your partner's name, date of birth and passport, the name and address of anyone paying for your trip, the name, address and passport number of any family member you have in the UK, a certificate proving that you've had a tuberculosis test if you are visiting for more than 6 months. So, of course, if you're applying for a standard visitor visa that is just about 6 months, you don't need to do your tuberculosis test. You need to provide additional documents if you're visiting for study. We've said that already, academic or medical reasons. Your documents has to be in English. Proving your identity and providing your documents. As part of your online application, you need to book an appointment at a visa application center. Allow time to attend your appointment, as the visa application center could be in another country. At your appointment, you will need to prove your identity with your passport or travel documents, have your fingerprint and photograph, that's biometrics, provide the required document that show you're eligible for a standard visitor visa. So when you submit your application on the UKVI website, you have to go to TLS website to book an appointment. When you book an appointment, you go with all your documents, with your passport, your passport photograph, your travel documents, your proof of funds, and every other document that show or support your application. When you get to TLS center, they are going to capture your biometrics, your fingerprint, and your photograph. How long it takes to get a decision? Almost all UK visa takes 3 weeks. Okay, it takes 3 weeks, but you can always pay for a fast track. You say you can check to see if you can get your visa decision faster. You can always get your pay for priority, which is a lot of money. If you need to change something in your application after you've sent it, you have to contact UKVI. You can ask to cancel your application. You only get your fee refunded if the application has not been processed yet. So if you're making a mistake in your application, you can cancel it and they'll refund your application fee only if it has not been processed. So it means immediately you submit your application. If you are yet to do your biometric capturing, obviously it has not been processed. But once you do your biometric capturing, it's beginning to be processed. Now let's talk about when you can extend your stay, because a lot of people are asking me, oh Couscous, if I come to the UK with a visitor's visa, can I switch? Can I extend we're going to talk about it. Because when you're with a visitor's visa, you cannot switch to some visas, which is actually very difficult, because in some countries, when you enter with a visitor's visa and you look for a job and you get a job, you can remain in the country and get your work permit. But that does not apply in UK, because if you come in with a visitor's visa, you look for a job and you get a job that is willing to give you a work visa, a work permit, you have to exit the UK, go and make that application in your country, get the visa before you come back. It is actually more expensive to extend your stay with a visitor's visa in the UK than any other visa I have seen. Jesus, God forbid. £1,800. So I think I should quickly show you guys what a visitor's visa application is. This is what the UK visitor's visa form looks like. I'm just going to show you the questions. So that's it, guys, on UK visitor's visa. If you have any questions, drop in the comment section. I hope this video has been helpful. If you want to know about global talent visa or how to get a job in the UK, of course, I have a lot of content surrounding that. How to get visa sponsored jobs, how to prepare your CV that is going to stand out, and a cover letter that is going to stand out in global job search. Of course, I have all those details on the channel. Visit the channel, go through the playlist. If you want scholarships, there's a scholarship playlist. If you're a Chevening applicant or you're interested in Chevening scholarship, there's a Chevening playlist as well. There's so many information on the channel. You can never ever get tired of receiving all the values on this channel. Thank you so much. Remember to share this video. Remember to drop any questions you have in the comment section, and I'll catch you in my next video. Bye.